Everyone wants to know how to be better at Warzone, and I'm gonna give you all the keys in this video. I've spectated over 3,000 Warzone games and played over 1,000 myself, and this is what I learned from players I killed, mistakes I made, as well as the players we've spectated. Enjoy. And if you guys have any teammates out there that you feel like relate to this, make sure you send them the video. Out IQ the enemies by focusing again on positioning in-game and predicting the rotation of the zone. Get the best in-game position. Here we are spectating McQuiggs. They have a good wall. Look at the zone. Right now, we don't need to move. We have a good wall. We have no idea where this next zone could rotate to. It could go away from us, and then we can start planning the rotation. But all we have to do is kind of just chill. You don't want to peek. You don't want to get in fights, because if you get in fights, you get knocked. Then your rotation strategy is out the window. You don't have time to look at the mini map. It can get real dirty real fast, as it does for this team. Zone says, wall safe, bitch. Let's keep this wall. So that's what we have to do. You can make it from wall to wall, and you can continue making it from wall to rooftop and play the roofs. At the end of this clip, I'll show you guys a perfect example of how to get from here to the winning position and how to maintain that. But here we are watching Quiggs get in a fight. They have a 4-man right now, so we should just be playing together. There's no reason for McQuiggs to jump down, but he does anyway. And instead of just leaving the position, he decides to stay in the same spot and just changes elevation. If you know precisions, if it gets called on you, you might as well just keep running straight where your homies are at. Now our other teammates down rezzing us. So we now have 2 teammates off of the high ground, allowing the other enemies to potentially push us. I don't like that. Now we're kind of trapped in here, very unfortunate position. Instead of playing passive for a split second, waiting for the next circle to dictate and pre-planning how you're gonna get there and then maybe even getting there, this is what we decided to do. So yellow goes down. Here we are just sitting here. And again, now blue's by himself, and blue seems to be getting shot by 1 target, maybe 2. Only 1 was pinged, but I do hear multiple footsteps. So we start spamming nades, and no surprise there. The enemy's just kind of laying there holding it. So now your boys realize, oh shit, I've put myself in a position. There is an option. You could go through the bottom and get out of there. We're hesitating a lot, which is putting us in a real bad spot gas wise. Now let's talk about another option. Everything's situational based off your tools, utensils, and all the other variables. We have a durable gas mask. I want to maintain this. If I ended up making this snowball effect of mistakes and somehow find myself right in this exact position, I'm going back up in a second. He might turn around and sit there and look at you, but he might not. In high ground in my favor, I'd rather take the risk of him looking my direction and maybe out fighting him than putting myself on the bottom ground level and getting clapped from above or other enemies playing the ground also. I'm gonna show you an example of how to get from where these guys were to the winning position. And that's basically it. So you want to jump from there to there and then to here, just like I did. And then you're gonna proceed to move out. And that's the benefit of them having smokes. I know 3 of their teammates had smokes. I never got to see the 4th guy, but I know they did. Now you're sitting here like, well, shit, now what? Most players don't know this. I remember showing a few goats and savages this. A lot of top 250 didn't know this either. And then you grab this top. There's a lot of parkouring opportunities in this game. Don't want to take the ladder? I don't either. Jump up the side. And then you sit here and we look at the final zone. Now let's talk about how to get there. Relatively simple, is it not? Same situation. Now you don't want to play the ledge like this most of the time. I'm going to, because no one's shooting at me actively, but you just keep working yourself over. It's a very simple aspect. Not every compound can do stuff like this, but this is the beauty behind Akdar Village, is that it can. And again, let's see the last zone. Oh, weird. That's exactly where we're at. If you guys enjoy the in-game examples, make sure you let me know in the comment section. Savage, we want you to do it more. And we'll start doing it more. Since you guys are still here, smash that like button, guys. If we can get this video to 1,000 likes, I will do an aim controller giveaway while I'm live over on Kick. The link to my Kick page is in the description, as well as the pinned comment. Gatekeeping is crucial if you think you can win the fight, but if not, if your confidence is lowered, just reposition, live the fight another day. He is in a very unique position. He has the high ground, he's on the edge of the zone, but he is gatekeeping people that are playing further into the edge. And if you look at the mini map here, it's a very simple gatekeep. We have the high ground. There's no reason for us to push the enemy. It's a 1v3 right now. It's going to be a hard fight, but legitimately, unless we turn around and run away, if we decide to fight, which he is, this is the best case scenario. Unfortunately, what he does is he decides to go ahead and engage. The moment he feels pressure, he proceeds to jump off the building. So now we put ourselves in a very unfortunate position where we can just be turned on. Now in this position here, many different options. 1, run away. 2, play the wall and leave the position you were last seen at. 3, go back to the rooftop. Or 4, and my favorite, play the building, play the other side, peek the corners, try to catch the enemies as they push this building. Because if we rewind real quick, where the enemies were and where we are, they have to jump over a wall and then be exposed before they hit this building for a good 20 feet. So all we had to do essentially was wrap around this way and end up shooting the enemies. But again, unfortunately, he panicked, and that's not what happened. Move while plating. So many players, when they're cracked, they panic. They don't want to expose themselves for a split second in fear that they might get 1 or 2 tap. So they hide and they played up. Going back to the player we just spectated, just sitting next to a wall plating, not peeking, not looking, not anything. Now look at the difference. This kind of ties into momentum too, but also plate and move. So we're spectating Optimus Marca, who is currently being pushed. He's anticipating the push, and look how he works this piece of cover, allowing him to pop a plate, get in a better fighting position with that extra plate, and proceed to challenge the enemy. If he was just to lay behind that, like most players we spectate and most players I kill do, the enemy would have pushed, shot him in the ass, and that would have been that. Stop hiding. Wolfpack, if y'all hadn't had a chance to check out aim controllers, make sure you guys do so. It is the best pro controller on the market, period, hands down. These controllers are extremely durable. They have a lifetime warranty on every single modded part. Their paddle system is just absolutely cake. And also on top of that, the PS5 variant has adaptive triggers where you can go from normal to digital, and it's an absolute dream, guys. Make sure you check out aim controllers by clicking the link in the description below. Use code SAVAGE at checkout to get 10% off through the month of July. If you are looking for a controller, I promise you right now, this is the one. I'm gonna put you guys on game. A little bit of a body tip, it's something we're seeing from a lot of players, even decent players. Here we have our dude Remember Me, and he's rocking a solid 11 kills, so he's not too bad. He's using the KV broadside, no surprise there. It's the pub destroyer. Even with 11 kills, confidence is still not his strong suit. Tip number 3, guys, be confident. Stay confident, especially for Warzone. It will help you, I promise. It's not a finesse. But also tip number 4, guys, stop camping in corners for the love of God. This right here is a very basic tip. I know a lot of you good players out there are like, duh, but you've witnessed what we spectated in the last 3,000 games, and that's just Warzone 2. This shit happened for 3 years in Warzone 1. Here we are spectating Sky, and this is more of an example of the last 3 added up. He is in a fight right now. He did just make it a 1v1 by downing the other player. So right now it is a 1v1 plus the knock. Definitely go for the execute, pretty common. Now right here, this whole time that your boy Sky is fighting this guy, where's the duo of the other team? We're gonna more or less analyze the other enemy than we are Sky. The enemy just made a huge mistake that cost him and his teammate the game. First off, it's 2v1 right now. There's no reason for them to be this separated. I'm gonna give you a hint. The other teammate is in a building. Huge separation right here between them two. Mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 is we now are on the edge of the zone. We have nothing but this as cover, and all he has to do is sit here and hold us. I don't care if drill charges come at you. I don't care if they throw a sticky. Unless there's multiple and you're already damaged, don't move. Do not leave your high ground position. At least move to the other side of the roof or something. But unfortunately, the enemy does not. The enemy does jump back inside out of fear of that drill charge. Even though Sky had smokes, he still could have played this fight. Now right here, we've now flip-flop, lollipop, give a dog a bone, and we just completely dollywop the crap out of the enemy. Again, those 2 simple mistakes, very simple mistakes, maintain high ground positioning, that also maintain the gatekeep, and also sticking together as a squad, could have just been simple things they could have done to win the game. All right, guys, another simple tip, but again, we see this day in and day out, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring it up. Tip number 5, guys, stay together. I'm not talking about stacking, I'm talking about play together. There's no reason, I mean no reason, you should have massive amount of separation and then you run into a 4-man and you're shocked you get clapped. Instead of being on top of each other, instead of being 100 meters from each other, just be a few feet, maybe 10 feet. That way, if one of your guys gets shot at, you either A, have an angle looking towards him to help him out, or B, you're next to him there to help him in a fight. Because we know the position now of the teammates, we know that we're kind of messed up. And if you're running away from the enemy, I would run towards my team. Turn around and go that direction where your team's at, so if the enemy chases you, they can shoot him too. But we further separate ourselves from the squad. And I don't agree with it in this situation. If there were other enemies around us, behind us, like third partying, for sure. And again, just going back to a corner instead of playing buildings out of fear. He smokes himself out, which is smart, but use the smoke to get away, not to sit here and hide in the smoke when you're still outnumbered. That team played together and they blew through you. Do you really think they're not going to stack your ass? I don't think so. Being a sniper in Warzone 2 is difficult. Flinch, damage, everything is against us, and we don't have a one-type sniper, which is okay. Problem is, to make up for that, you have to maintain movement. Utilize your peripheral. Stay out of your scope. Look around for stuff. For stuff. The moment you decide you want to shoot or ADS on an enemy, that's when you ADS and shoot at an enemy. You don't sit there and hard scope and wait because you will get shot by another guy. Also on top of that, do not stand on top of a ledge when you're already spotted and you have a sniper. your ADS will be slower, the flinch is way more unforgiving on snipers than it is any other gun, and you just put yourself in a bad situation. Do you see the box right here? This is a better place to play because it still gives you elevation. You might be able to utilize that ridge as a heady depending on the angle, but you'll never know if you're getting clapped staying on the edge. If you're going to stand on the edge, jump on, jump off, jump on, jump off, but at that angle there, it just didn't make any sense for him to try to contest that fight. And a quick little simple tip as well, if your teammate is shooting at multiples on a rooftop, 2, 3, 4 enemies, do not solo sim like that guy did. And going back to teamwork, another example just for you guys. We are in a situation now where it's a 2v1. It's actually a 4v1, but again, separation is gonna cost this team, surprisingly. 4v1 situation, now it's a 1v1 because our teammate is crouch walking on the rooftop like Robin Hood, and our other two teammates are holding hands, playing hopscotch, whatever it is the hell they do. But we're now gonna dollywop because of that. And you see, he kind of tries to play it, the enemy plays it better. He's running left, running right, we're really delayed. And again, the KV, he was able to 1v2 us. And unfortunately, that team does go on to win the fight and eventually win the game. Tip number 7, guys, is combat awareness. So many people get in combat and they think they have cover because they're shooting a guy and they have a box in front of them, but you have to remember, be aware of everything and potentially everyone. If you decide to engage in a fight and your backside's completely unsafe, leave and reposition. Sometimes you get caught up and you just happen to be running, you get shot at, you have to challenge, that's different. But if you decide to actively pick a fight and stick with it, you better have good cover. Here we are sitting here spectating ... We have a guy shooting at our team with, again, not much but a railing separating him from the guy he's shooting at, but no one else. So we come up here. Secondly, where's this dude's team? Oh yeah, the bridge. And again, same situation. He's being shot at by multiples and he's got no cover concealment from really anybody. Very vulnerable spot. I want to always try to never get in fights ever as long as I live on a bridge. Except for the freeway. The freeway bridge, that's different. That thing is beast. Another simple tip, guys. Look, if you are outnumbered and you're at end game, your best friend is stealth. Unless you have to shoot, do not shoot. There's no reason to ever shoot enemies that aren't a threat to you when you have other enemies right next to you. Stop wasting time. Whether it's looting too much, whether it's just running around aimlessly, whether it's taking a vehicle or a chopper and just flying or driving around, it's time being wasted. Throughout the game, you should be consistently getting position, getting in fights, getting the money from the people you kill, or looting money, consistently throwing up UAVs and buying tools to help you effectively win more gunfights. If you guys decide you want to play passive, again, that's fine. That's going back to getting positioning, but you're still going to need to get in some fights and get some money to get the things you need to maintain that position. Dirty gas masks, ammunition boxes, plate boxes, the list goes on. And this clip right here might not seem a big deal, but these guys did go on to fly around for legitimately 13 minutes, and I'm not gonna make you watch that whole thing. All right, guys, going to tip number 10, we're talking about water endings with positioning. Positioning is different when it comes to water endings. A lot of people see water, they jump in, they try to play it. And sometimes it'll work, but overall, the better strategy is to play the land should the land actually look to be favored. Notice how the land takes up more than 50% of the actual circle. So I want to stay on the ground, but we see so many people just dive in the water when they see it's a water ending, they get excited, like we're just gonna float. But again, playing for SR and positioning is good, but at the end of the day, when it's pubs, this shit doesn't make any damn difference. They're just kind of floating in the water. And remember, if there's a water ending, you're never gonna be the only team. If there's water in the zone, there's always be multiple. But we should be getting back. We notice there's a team holding us right now. We decide to go ahead with this engagement. If you want to get kills, I get it, that's fine, but honestly, get this kill quick and start figuring out where you're going to rotate to, because again, looking at the map, these enemies are here. We need to somehow rotate around them, because if we try to contest these guys who know we're there, especially after they hear us shoot this guy, we're going to be asking to die. So I want to kind of work my way between yellow ping and the red pings on the map and get around these guys. Again, zone is moving in, and we're sitting here in the water sniping. Makes no damn sense at all. Just letting everyone on the server know exactly who we are, what we're about, and that they can come clap our cheeks. So I went ahead and fast forwarded, but basically at the end of the day, these guys eventually, after swimming back and forth, came out the water, and to our surprise, they got waxed. Tip number 11, cover and concealment. Guys, you've got to stop fighting in the wide open. He has a nice window, he has a building, but because he got a little bit antsy and wanted to change position and get better visual on the enemies, he jumps out of his cover and concealment, puts himself in the open, and then proceeds to engage in a fight in this position. It's absolutely wild. One, the enemy is way too far away for his accuracy and aim. Two, he probably wouldn't, even if he downed him, probably wouldn't execute him anyway. And three, you got to be aware of the enemies around you also. And then he works himself back out for the second time when realistically he could have just kept playing that corner. And look, for go-to players jumping out there, you got 2, 3, 4 KDs, keep doing what you're doing great. But again, beginner players, before you have reaction speed to bounce back to this wall, because realistically, this isn't a big jump. You get shot out right here, you're fine, as long as you can react and jump to the right. But most players can't. They get shot. Next thing you know, they're dead, and they're like, what happened? If you guys struggle with reaction time, make sure you're playing cover extremely well. Tip number 12, guys, I'm a little toxic for this one. I was spectating a video, and you're about to watch what happens. I decided to give you tip number 12. Pay attention to the announcers and audio. If they say enemy incoming and you hear a parachute, look around, pay attention, especially after a jailbreak, which is exactly what happened here. You have to look around. And unfortunately, because he didn't, I went on to shoot him in the back with a pistol and essentially kill him. Even though his teammates killed me, he did ultimately die, and they lost the game, even though they had a better spot. Do not put your team in a bad spot by getting clapped from a jailbreaker like me, who just wants to ruin the game for you. Tip number 13 and 14 in this one clip. Let's go ahead and watch this take place. So originally we're spectating ATX, who's on the higher ground. Now look at this building and look at the zone, the mini map. What do you see? I see a clusterfuck screaming for help. You do not want to put yourself in the bottom of a multi-story building when it's in the final zone. Why? Or one of the final zones. Well, dude, when you have to rotate out, all the people on the rooftop do is have to sit there and hold you. High ground wins when it comes to end games almost every time, unless someone throws. All of these guys on the first level and second level have the opportunity and potential to take the staircase to the roof and fight for it. Do any of them? We'll see. But that's tip number 13, guys. Grab the high ground, especially in game, especially if it's buildings. So the fact we're shooting all these guys down here, these different players, multiple teams, is absolutely wild to me. Also, when you look at the zone, garage is where you really want to be, and that's exactly where ATX is working to. Now, as you're running there, let's go to tip number 14 real quick. I like the fact that he's scanning here before he crosses, because he could get shot from left or right. Even with TTK, it still can be fast. Now, right here, we're making noise shooting an enemy. As a player, you need to pay attention to all gunshots happening around you so you can kind of remember it and make plays off of that. We have another set of gunshots being made shooting at us also. Remember, these two things are extremely important. When we made all that noise and this guy completely forgot about us. This guy completely forgot we existed. He just didn't look both ways before he crossed the road, and he got clapped in the side because of it, because he forgot of everything going on. If you guys enjoyed the video and would like to know more about how to become a better player in Warzone, make sure you guys check out this video right now.